I hear a huge bang, bang, bang in the night. These two people, this man and woman with suits on, rushing in my room, and they're like, get up, get your stuff, get your shit. Let's go, you gotta get your... They're yelling at me and screaming, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm looking at my parents. My parents are in the doorway with like, my mom has like tears coming down her face. Ended up taking me to the airport and flying me to North Carolina, dropping me off in the middle of the woods where I spent the next 2 months at boot camp.
What's up, guys? We're here for another episode of the Discipline Legacy Podcast. I had the amazing pleasure of getting to interview this young lady, Elisabeth Carson. She's a international speaker. She's killing it in her industry. Like, we're definitely, vibing on the same page when it comes to the podcast and what we got going on, and super excited to have gotten to see her story. Everything I've seen since I've started following you, and now I get to hear it. So.
Yes. Did you know my story, or did you know of me before?
I know that you had a background of like drug addiction and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard the whole thing. Like, I saw, that's the cool part about like Discipline and Legacy, is because like, we get to see people when they're successful. Like, people tell me all the time, they're like, Jonnie, I could never see you as like shooting heroin and smoking crack and because they see me now. So like, I want to hear the discipline story. I want to hear the adversity story. I want to hear when to where you are now, like story, and then what legacy and impact you want to leave on the earth. So that's the cool part, is like, I've had multiple people who've done tons and tons of podcasts, and they're like, man, your podcast is awesome because you weren't like asking all these questions. Like, I let the Holy Spirit run it. Yeah. And it's your story. That. And like, that's it. I mean, it's just, and it's super cool how it ends up playing out.
Yeah. Well, I just got the pleasure of hearing yours, and it reminded me a lot of mine. So we're about to dig in. It's kind of crazy too. So I'm going to give you like a faster version because it's a lot.
Do it.
It's a lot. So, I was adopted. I was born in Korea, and I was adopted at 3 months old. In my adult years, I did work around the adoption because obviously, there's a lot of trauma that's associated with adoption. And I was able to re-experience my birth. And so I felt all the emotions of me coming out, and I felt everything as like a newborn baby. And I realized through that experience that my mother never hugged me. She never saw me. So I just got taken away and then placed and, kind of monitored for the next 3 months of my life, until I got adopted. So that like initially kind of stamped me with this abandonment type of wound. And then, my childhood was, my parents did, the best that they could do. My brother, I had an older brother. He was from Chile. I'm from Korea. And, it was a pretty average childhood, except for the fact that, abuse for me started pretty young. So that continued on, for many years, and throughout my life. But that kind of probably led me into, kind of experimenting with drugs and alcohol pretty quickly. Because obviously, if you're that young, I started trying to smoke weed and drink at like 11 and sell bags of sage at 11, thinking it was weed. So, I mean, now I have a 13-year-old son. And so I'm like, I can't even imagine him doing that. So what mind state would I have had to be in to try to like reach for these things? I must have been pretty, angry, upset, empty, searching for something, right? So, I really dove into the drugs, alcohol, and partying at 11, 12, and I started sneaking out. And I think I got arrested for my first time when I was 13. I was shoplifting. My parents did the scare straight thing. I went to the jails and they tried to scare me. I'm like, this doesn't scare me. Like, I was like, I'm like the leader of all, like nothing, no fear.
Where'd you grow up?
Zero fear. Right outside of Lansing. It's in a place called Okemos. Okay. And when I was 16, I started going back and forth to Detroit.
Okay.
And then when I was 18 or 17 and a half, I moved to Detroit. So I stayed in Detroit, for quite a while after that. But yeah, I mean, my childhood was kind of crazy. I moved out of my parents' house at 14. I was really rebellious, and they were like, go ahead, because it was too crazy for them.
Yeah.
And I moved in with a high school sweetheart, his drug-addicted father, and his cousin. So there was no oversight there. And that's when I really learned how to sell drugs, because there were some guys 2 doors down from us that sold weed. So they taught me the game. And not only was I really selling drugs at this point, but I was partying with college kids, going to like college parties. And one night I went to a college party. So I got violated at the party and came home. My high school sweetheart that I was living with found out, went to go basically kill the guy. And I warned the guy because I didn't want him to die.
Yeah.
And that pissed my boyfriend off, obviously. So he came back and he threw me out that night in the middle of a rainstorm and threw all my stuff out. And so in that moment, I'm like looking around, like,
how old were you?
14.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was, I stayed out there like all night long until the morning when I could call somebody to come get me and all my stuff that was all muddy. And I'm like, what is my life? This sucks. And I had a moment, like a glimmer of like, what am I doing? But then I went right back into the partying and whatever. So I moved back in with my parents. And I think I was 15 and a half or something. And I was like deciding to stay home that evening. I was going to be a good girl. And I hear a huge bang, bang, bang in the middle of the night. And I'm like, I jump up out of my bed and I'm like, what is going on here? And these two people, this man and woman with suits on, rushing in my room. And they're like, get up, get your stuff, get your shit. Let's go. You got to get your, they're yelling at me and screaming. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm looking at my parents. My parents are in the doorway with like, my mom has like tears coming down her face. And I'm like, hello, these people are kidnapping me. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, hello, help me. And they just stood there. They didn't do anything. So the people ended up taking me to the airport and flying me to North Carolina, dropping me off in the middle of the woods where I spent the next 2 months at boot camp. And,
really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So was it like a setup?
Crazy.
Was
yeah.
Your parents were like,
yeah, they set me up.
Get this girl.
Yeah, they
she
set
needs
me
to
up.
send her to boot camp.
Yes. Well, here's the thing about those camps. Paris Hilton has a documentary about that.
Right.
And the camp that her parents sent her to was like a sex slave child like, some of these camps are dangerous. So I would really warn the parents to do a lot of research. Thank God the one that I went to that they sent me to wasn't that. But I've heard really traumatic stories of these camps. So I end up getting out of there and going back to my parents' house and telling them, like, I'm good. Like, I was ready to be good. And then they dropped the bomb on me. They were like, oh, no, pack your shit. You're leaving in a week. You're going to boarding school. And I was like, excuse me? Like, really? I'm good. And so that pissed me off. So I was like, you know what? Screw you and screw everybody. So I went right back doing all the bad stuff. I went to boarding school. They had a 3-strike rule. I was drinking, I was smoking, I was getting in fights, I was skipping class, I was doing all this crazy stuff. Obviously, I got those 3 strikes very quickly. They actually warned my parents before the 3rd strike. So my parents ended up pulling me before I got expelled, so it wouldn't be on my record. I ended up finishing school where I originally went, graduated early. I was very smart. I would just skip school and do drugs all the time.
And still pass.
Yeah. But I graduated early because I wanted to get out of my parents' house and go strip. So I was like, I need to get out of here. So I was doing that by any means possible. So I graduated in December instead of June. I moved out and I became a dancer. And I started making real good money.
And this is Detroit?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I started in Lansing. And, in the clubs, I did more drugs because you have to numb yourself. Like, this was not me. My spirit didn't obviously like this. So,
right.
I mean, I had to numb myself by doing tons of drugs. That's when the drugs got kind of bad. And I remember I was on this drug binge, and it was like a 3-month drug binge. I looked in the mirror with my girl, and we're staring in the mirror. And I'm like, do you see us? And she's like, yeah, we look bad. I'm like, yo, we need to eat. Like, we look crazy. And she's like, oh my God. Like, our eyes were bugged out of our...
I've said the same thing to myself.
Crazy, right? So I'm like, dude, like, this is bad. So we stopped. And then, after that 3 months, I couldn't even complete sentences. Like, my brain was so fogged up and it was so inflamed. I always prided myself off of being very smart. So I was like, I can't even, like, what is this? It was terrible. So I was over at my friend's house, and his next door neighbor ended up coming over, and he was like, hey, I have this thing called brain training. You want to try? And I was like, yeah, like, fix me. Yeah, let's go. So we went that night, and he ended up brain training me for the next 5 days, which was neurofeedback. And I was 19 years old. And after that, I got contrast. Humans, we're very adaptable. So if you live in a toxic environment, you're going to adapt to that environment, and that's going to become your baseline. So that's going to become like what you're used to, right? Until you have contrast. So neurofeedback gave me this contrast where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, my head is clear. I feel good. Like, I feel inspired. I should go to school, do all these things. So after that, I ended up leaving a very toxic relationship, moving back in with my mom and my parents and signing up for school. I started exercising. Didn't last long because I went right back into, the partying and stuff. So what happens, neurofeedback, you get a lot of neuroplasticity, the ability to change your brain. And if you don't continue with the new pathways that you've created through this modality, then it's going to prune away. Your brain is just going to prune away and all those connections that you made are going to go away. So that's what happened. And, by this time I was really hustling. I was kind of getting into selling, more drugs, some harder drugs. And I was with this guy and he was like a drug dealer. And, I was living in Kalamazoo at this time, which was like 2.5 hours away from Detroit. And I would drive to Detroit to go dance and then come back. And me and my girl were sitting on our couch one day and we're talking, just like me and you, sitting here talking. And I'm hearing like a helicopter and I'm like not thinking anything of it. And we continue to talk. And I'm like hearing the helicopter. And I'm like, hey, do you hear this helicopter? Because it's still there. Something happening? I don't know. I was like, go outside and check. And so she runs outside and I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, it's like a minute goes by, 2 minutes goes by, 5 minutes goes by. I'm like, where is this bitch at? Like, so I go to the windows, I'm peeking through the windows, I don't see anything. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And all of a sudden, I hear these like bangs at the door and I'm like, uh-oh. So I go and I open the door and these guys with huge guns are like, get out the way, we got a warrant. And I'm like, you guys can't come in here. I'm like, no, you can't come in here. I'm 4'11". So they were like, boop. I was like, we topple over. They ended up raiding the house and they took us in, questioned us. I didn't know much. So thank God I didn't know much. But they found 10 kilos of cocaine at the house, 100 pounds of weed and some bunch of ecstasy pills. They had caught my boyfriend at the time with some like 4 keys and he went to jail for a while. Raided the house. And I was like, I don't know. We just left. Like me and my girl left that night. And because I came back into my house and everything was destroyed and ruined. And I'm like, my dude is locked up. I'm like, let's go to Detroit. So we went to Detroit and I stayed there for a while. I was dancing. The dude ended up getting like 4, 5, 6 years or something. We broke up. And then, I was getting really popular in Detroit as a dancer. The clubs would pay me because like I was really beautiful, back when I was 19, 20. I mean, still. But back then I was like really hot. So, the clubs would pay me and I started getting popular. And then I started like getting asked to do modeling gigs and stuff. And I was like, cool, maybe I should, do this. So I created this persona, Asia Rain, and I started modeling. I was still drinking a lot. I was still doing a lot of drugs and I was still selling drugs in the clubs. But I was also having this modeling thing happening. And one day I was like, you know what? I really want to try to make it work. So I drove out to California with my girlfriend and $300 in my minivan. And I was like, we're going to make it. And I stayed out in LA for like 2.5, 3 years. And in LA, out there, Hollywood is like a glass of water out there is like a bump of cocaine, like, hey, you want to take a bump and go run the hills? Like, let's go do one real quick. So it's like very, it's very normalized. So I really got into cocaine out there and drinking. And, I was popular. I was doing music videos. I was doing magazines and TV shows and movies. And I was partying with celebrities. And I was hosting parties in Hollywood, living the life, right? But completely trashed on the inside. I mean, I was getting drunk and high every single night. And I had also met some guys that taught me a different hustle. And this hustle was making way more money than what I was making, just selling my little drugs here and there. So I really dove into that hustle. And I was like, dang, this like I could really do this. So I went with those guys and we started traveling, doing this hustle. It was credit card fraud. And I was still modeling, still, doing that stuff. And I ended up moving to Louisiana for a while to film a movie. That ended up not working because the guy that I was with at the time was a dick. So like that didn't work. So I ended up coming back to Detroit. When I got back to Detroit, I actually moved back to Detroit because my best friend got killed. And so I went back for the funeral. And man, I was so high, like at the funeral. Like I remember I took a huge line. I was like, because it was my best friend, I was like just trying to get out of pain. And I remember I spoke at his funeral and I was drunk and high as shit. I had my sunglasses on and I spoke at his funeral. I made his obituary. And I was drunk and high. That's now I just thought about that for the first time since. So that's
really?
like a realization for me. Yeah. Wow. Like
similar with my dad's funeral.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a picture recently where I was like, just wasn't good.
Right.
So there's some, I mean, I can't change the past, but it definitely brings up feelings, right? You know, like, man, I wish I wouldn't have had a little more respect on their name.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah.
Just doing what we knew, right?
Exactly. I mean, you only can do what you can do at the level of consciousness where you were at. So I don't shame you or myself for that, but it's just like, whoa, you know, it shows you how far away you are from that place. Yeah. Because I would never in a million years at this point, like, I've been clean and sober for a long time at this point anyways. But, so back to the story. So, coming from my best friend's funeral, we were driving down the street and I see this dude walk out this house and it's our friend's house. And I'm like, who is this guy? Like, he was the most gorgeous guy I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, oh my God, like hard eyes immediately. I'm like, stop the car. So literally we pull over. I'm like, hey, what's your name? I was like, can I have your number? And so we exchanged numbers and a week later we were living together. Wow. And we became Bonnie and Clyde of Detroit.
Really?
And so we were literally making tons of money. I had my hustle. I had a couple hustles. He had his hustle. And all we would do was go out to the clubs, strip clubs, and just throw up money and just party every night. I mean, the whole city knew us. We had respect on our names, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody knew us. And, you know, that lasted for a good period of time. And then we decided, like, so I was making like 8 to 10 grand a day in my hustle.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, this is getting way too good. And I think we're going to get caught because every time it gets this good, we get caught. And I was like, look, I think we should stack our money for the next week. Let's just like grind for the next week. And then let's move and be done with this life. And he's like, bet, you know, let's do that. So we mapped out a trail like I did. This was my hustle. So we mapped out a trail up Michigan and we stopped at like the tip of Michigan to vacation. And then I mapped out the trail back. We were hitting stores on the way. And instead of going to different stores on the way down, I went to the same ones because I was so confident in my hustle. So we ended up going to a couple stores. Then we go to this Best Buy. We walk in, and everything's normal. I'm going to check out. The girl's talking. How you doing? How you doing? Oh, that's cool. What are you doing today? How you feeling? Da, 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 da. My boyfriend's like, we gotta go. You know, like, what are you doing? Like, he's like tapping me. We gotta go. And I'm like, oh no, she's nice. She's so cool. Like, super confident. And then he's like, come on. So we ended up walking out that Best Buy. And when I tell you this is like the movies, like the cops are like, doo, doo, doo. And then they came up. It was like 30 cop cars. Like, they bum rushed us, slammed us against the wall, like put us in the back of the cop car in the middle of July in Michigan. It was probably about 100 degrees outside. Rolled the windows up, no air. We're literally dying, handcuffed. And you know, the back of the police car is plastic. So it's like, it's painful. It's hot. My hands are like, it was just bad. It was bad. We almost died. Heat stroke. It was terrible. So I'm watching, like, as they bum rushed us, right? This guy runs past me and he's like, you need to watch who you hang with. And I'm like, you racist. Like, you're a racist asshole, because my boyfriend was black. And I'm like, wait until you go into that car and you see all those credit cards that I have in my name. I'm like, you guys are going to find out real soon whose hustle this is. So anyways, they searched the car. They found the shit. They take us to jail. This was a Friday. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking at my son's dad. I'm like, dude, we're going to get out on Monday. We just got to get arraigned. You know, we'll be fine. He's like, yeah, I know. We'll be good. So we sat in jail. Monday came around. They didn't arraign us. Tuesday came around. They didn't arraign us. Wednesday came around. Finally, we go up for the arraignment. And we're sitting in court, and the judge is right there. And he's like, okay, da-da-da-da-da, the charges were crazy. Like, they tried to slap me with criminal enterprise, which carries like 20 to life.
RICO.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, nah, but they always do that. Anyways, the system is so. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. So
this is close to where your home is, or
no? I was 2.5 hours away.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you weren't even in like anywhere where you knew other for like the jail and all that. So.
No, and that was a problem because we were a flight risk now. So because we were a flight risk, because the charges were so high, the judge was like, "Okay, $250,000 bond, cash only." Click, and I was like, "Did he just say cash only? 250,000? He was like 222,500. Like, it was 25,000. He said 250,000. I literally almost fainted.
So you couldn't even bond out for the 25K?
We both. No, there was no cash surety. There was no 10%. It was $250,000 cash only.
Wow.
And I was like, oh God. So I look at my son's dad, like another story.
Yeah.
I look at my boyfriend and I'm like, this is bad. Like I almost fainted. So
you guys were in the jail cell together?
Not
really?
Not the cell. He was in the men's
cell.
and then I was in the women's. So we were in max. Both of us were in max because we'd never been there. So there was medium, max, and min. Mm-hmm. And they didn't know how to classify us. So they put us in max. So we were in solitary confinement for those 5 days where I went a little crazy. And then they put me into medium, right? Because they didn't know me. So I was in this medium jail for a while. And then I got moved to min. But I was in there for like about 4 months, I would say. Mm-hmm. And when it got bound over to circuit court is when the judge put 10% cash surety on it. So I was able to bond out. My mom put up her house for me. And I got out. My boyfriend did not get out. It was like another 2 months before he was able to bond out. So when he gets out, we find out that the feds are after him for his hustle. And I was like, oh no. I was like, we got to go on the run. He was like, yeah, I know. I don't want to go back to jail. I'm like, I know. Let's go. So like we booked it and we went on the run. And on the run. You
said it, Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes. And on this run, I got pregnant.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so I'm pregnant. You're in trouble. We just got in trouble and got over our case. Like we both got hits on our record now. You're about to get a lot of time because I don't know if they're going to run this concurrent. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I'm like, this is like fucked. Like, what do we do? And so we looked at each other and I was like, you got to turn yourself in. You know, we got a kid. Like we need to be a little more responsible now. So we kind of changed a little bit. The prosecutor ended up giving us 3 months with our son before my son's dad had to turn himself in. And I remember this day like it was yesterday. We had to drive him to a medium prison in Pennsylvania, and I'm driving with the newborn in the backseat. And we literally were pulling up to the prison, and I'm watching my son's dad get our son out the car and look at our son, and I'm seeing like, you know, what's like going through his head, and what's going through my head. I'm like, what is going on? Like, this is terrible. Like, this is awful.
Yeah.
We're walking in towards the prison. And everything was happening in slow motion. We walk in, it's like this huge room, and there's this little metal detector here, and like the CO's there. And so we go through the metal detector, and there's this door in the back right corner, and it opens, and this cop comes through, and I hear his handcuffs clanking, and the door slams closed behind him. And I'm looking at my kids, and I'm looking at my kid's dad, and I'm like, this is like the most awful, heartbreaking moment of my life. Like, I hate everything. Like,
how long did they gave him 3 years?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I leave there because I'm like, something snaps me awake. And I'm like, I can't do this because if I continue to be on this road and do the things that I'm doing, then my son's going to end up in foster care. I end up leaving that day and wanting to change because I'm like, I can't have my son going to foster care. Like, that's not going to happen. I will not allow that to happen. So I ended up changing my life. I signed up for school. I went to Culinary Arts School. I got my baking and pastry certificate, started working as a pastry chef. I was also bartending, and like I had 3 jobs going to school, really trying to just make it for my kid. I was still like, you know, I still have my hustle because when you're in the streets and you have a hustle, it's very hard to let that go because you don't think you're going to make any money ever.
Plus, like, I think, and that's where like the system is messed up, is because you know you can make this amount of money doing this, and then you go to get like a regular job. They're like, yeah, $10 an hour, you know, 30 hours a week. It's like,
yeah.
And then you're 9 times out of 10, you don't have a license. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to pay probation fees, or you got to pay all these things. It's like, so you go back to what you know to where you can make the money. You know,
they really set you up to fail.
100%. That's why, like, even probation, like, it's a setup.
Yeah, they set you up to fail. That's why my nonprofit really is going to focus on recidivism and prison reform because it's so jacked up. They don't give you opportunity. Do you know how hard it's been for me to like do things with my felonies? Like I just got them expunged after 10 years. But the prosecutor slapped me with 2 because with 1, it falls off your record after 7 if it's your only one. So he made sure I had 2. So I would be stuck on my record. And, you know, just that stamp, it's like, you know, you're not going to get the job. You're not.
Yeah.
You're just not, you know. So it's incredibly hard for people that change to try to get real jobs. It's 100%. Like, it's just, you know, that system is so jacked up in my eyes. And I'm really going to dedicate a lot of time and energy to try to, you know, support people. Yeah. Because I really feel like, you know, kind of going left a little bit. I feel like a lot of the people that are locked up, they have a hardware issue with their brains. You know, something is not functioning properly. Maybe they got hit in the head. Maybe they have a tumor. Maybe, you know, something happened to where they're just not right, you know? And we don't scan for that, but yet we give years for that. You know, you go kill somebody, maybe they have a tumor in their left temporal lobe that's causing them to be violent.
Right.
You remove that and they're going to be an amazing citizen.
Right.
We don't even know half the time. And they're not rehabilitating in there. They're like, you go to prison or jail and you just get more accustomed to your hustle. And you get more connections. You get more, you know, now I got connections in other countries. I got connections on like across the country. I mean, it's really just not... I don't know. I think that system is incredibly not supportive for people to actually get better.
I agree.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, after, you know, culinary, I worked as a chef and I got tired of that. I never saw my kid because it was like, you know, a very strenuous job. So I became a real estate agent. And, you know, Michigan, you can't get your license with felonies. This is another thing. And I'm like, after I go through the class, I pass the test. They're like, oh, you can't get your license. You have felonies. I was like, I'm getting my license. So I had people write me letters. I mean, I was connected with some politicians and my pastor, and I had everybody write me letters. So I ended up getting my license. So yeah, there's no limits. Like, 100%. You know, you just have to make sure you don't have limits in your mind, because then you can create anything in reality.
So you got it.
Yeah. Got my license. I ended up building like a 30 agent team.
Wow.
Really successful. I made a lot of money, and my friend that introduced me to neurofeedback when I was 19 was scaling a business, and I'm like, look, like I can help you. You know, I have some extra time. I made a lot of money with real estate. Let me help. So I ended up helping him, and that help turned into like 2 years of working for free. But I became the president of that facility very fast. But I ended up being broke. So. You know, it was...
How did you work for free?
I basically... He was paying me in shares.
Okay.
And, you know, the company was getting popular. Like, we partner with a very well-known celebrity. I had a lot of connections with, like, modeling and acting, so I know a lot of people. So I was bringing all my connections to try to make mental health cool, was the whole gig. So we partnered with a celebrity. That deal went through, fell through. We were supposed to franchise that business around the country, but it fell through. But we still had, like, you know, celebrities coming in, and we were making it cool, and we had this like music video, and you know, it was still it was popping.
Yeah.
So my friend was like, "Hey, I want you to call this guy and bring him in to do a TV show on our place." And I'm like, "Bet, okay." So I call the dude, I get a hold of him, and he comes in and does the show. Now this guy, I thought he was like incredibly smart, and I'm like, "Wow, you know, he's like awesome." So we start to date, and the founder, the guy that was the founder of the mental health place, didn't like that. Come to find out, he's probably like had some crushes on me, you know. So he gave me an ultimatum, and he's like, "You either work with him or you work with me," because this guy over here started paying me to do jobs because he knew I was broke. I didn't have any money. So I was like, "Hey, I can help your business," you know, like, and so he started to take care of like my bills, so that, you know, and I was helping out with his business. So he didn't like that. So he was like, "You either work with him or me." And I'm like, "Dude, I can't work with you. You're not paying me. I'm broke. I need to work with him." So he gets mad at me, and he takes me off of every single website, all the social medias, everything that I scaled for 2 years, removes me from everything. I'm like, I thought this was my friend.
Yeah.
And this was a business decision. Come to find out, it was not that at all. So my friend warned me about this guy. He was like, "He's awful. He's a con artist. He's a scammer. He's a da-da-da." He talked all this crap about this guy. But
what was your thoughts?
I don't take what people tell me about somebody, and I don't take that.
But you worked with him for years, right? So
I didn't work with this guy for years. It was about 3 months.
The new guy is what
the new guy was about 3 months. Yes, this other guy.
Did you get a vibe?
No, I was like, he's so nice, so smart. Like he came in and paid for everything. I'm like, and I told this guy that. I was like, "Yo, he came in and like he paid for a music video. He flew people in. Like, he hasn't asked for $1. He's putting us on his network." I'm like, "He's super nice. What are you talking about?" You know, come to find out, it's probably, I should have listened to my friend anyway. So, long story short, I ended up jumping ship and scaling that business. And so I came in and, you know, in 3 years, I scaled that business 6 to 8 figures because it was only him. So I built systems and I hired employees and I had teams, and then we scaled legs of the company. So I was able to like create a leg to scale money, create a leg. So we had all of these different things within this business. So, through 6 to 8 figures in 3 years.
Real quick, because I think you kind of just jumped over that part. Like, you've killed it in real estate. Like, you killed it in these 2 companies. Like, where did that come from? Like, was it school? Like, where did that come from? Talk about it.
I think, like...
Because that's discipline.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like,
yeah.
It had to have come from somewhere.
I think it's just me trying to be the best at anything I do. So when I was a dancer... Where did that come from? I think I was born with this. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think it might be in like an Asian mentality too. Maybe it's in my DNA. But it's like, because Asian people are very disciplined naturally. Yeah. And very smart, So I don't know because I was adopted. So I just understand the culture. And I know that that's in like the DNA. And I'm good with numbers. I'm very analytical. Creative too. So, I mean, I was kind of, I think
like some people say like, oh, like, they played sports or whatever. And I learned discipline from that. So like, so you're just saying it was natural.
I think it was just trying to be the best.
And then you practiced it, obviously. Cause if you, say the same thing to me, like, I don't realize that $60 million in 4 years is a good job at building a company. But some people work their whole life and never do that.
Right. So that's why you remind me a lot of myself. Like your story reminds me a lot of myself because it sounds like to me like you were able to fall on your ass and then build right back up. You know what I'm saying?
Every whole life is like build this huge mansion.
Yeah.
And then just
light it on fire.
Burn it to the ground.
Yeah, and do it again.
And
bigger
then
the next
somebody,
time.
I don't remember who it was. It was in an NA meeting. The guy was like, Jonnie, I don't know how you always end up, you fall down and you slip and shit and do some, come out shining. I forget what the saying was, but just meant like, and I always did. Like I always ended up with like a real good job. I always ended up with like,
I think it's the grit, and you probably had a lot of belief in yourself. I had a lot of belief in myself.
I never had that negative, like,
me either.
It just
victim mentality.
It was never had inside of me. It was never like a thing. Like, I'm like, well, now I got to do this. You know, like
same.
Yeah,
same with me. It was never.
You can be upset about it, or you can, or be happy about it. Either way, you got to do something about it. So I'd rather be happy about it and do something about it than.
Right.
I didn't want to skip over that. That was important for me to like kind of figure out where that came from. So
yeah, but I think it's no limits, right? Have you ever thought that you can't do something? Have you ever thought that like, oh, like that's too hard. I can't do that. Like when it comes to
sometimes, but like not more so because I probably didn't want to do it.
Right, but not that you can't do it. Like you're not able to do it.
Right. More so it's like I don't want to. Yeah,
exactly. But I feel like you're the type of personality that's like, if you like, you can do whatever, anything. Like
no, we're definitely on the same page with that.
Yes, but that's where it starts at. That's why I'm saying that's why I've been able to keep going because I don't have any belief system that I can't do anything. Yeah, it's always been I can. I'm able. Even if I'm on my ass, like, oh, well, I'll just build the next thing that much better.
That's the thing where they talked about it yesterday too. Is like, even if I lost everything today, I would know how to get it back. Yes. And in a monetary sense. Yeah. So like, and I think not that I've never really cared about money. I mean, it was never like, oh, you just have to have it because you have to pay bills. Like I was the guy that was at the dope man's house and be like, oh, I don't got change for a 20. It's like, all right, man, just keep the change. And then like later when I'm coming back for more drugs, he's like, what, you got money? I'm like, you don't remember the 10 from earlier from the change? Like, where's my, like, I was just a nice guy, even on the street. But I mean, that's good way to be still, I guess.
Well, I think that is, but people really got to get rid of their limiting beliefs. That's what holds everybody back is the belief that they can't do something. I mean, we can literally, we are unlimited.
But it came natural. And I would say, like it was never something I practiced. Like it was just like.
In you. Yeah. That was in you. So I don't know if you can train that into people. I don't meet many people anymore that have the grit like that.
I believe I was like a sheep at one point in my life. Cause I still was like, oh, I got to work. I got to, can't wait till Friday comes. And like every day's a Friday. Like, what do you mean? Like, or like, I don't know, like I just look at things differently now. But definitely removing its perception. It's removing the limited mindset.
Yes.
And
Exactly. Yeah. I had a wild ride for that time. So I was with my ex-husband for 5 years about, and helped scale the business. I mean, we did a lot of things, we traveled a lot. We helped a lot of people, like the business blew up. Right. So we were everywhere. And, some drama happened, some very public drama happened. And, there was a debate and he lost this debate. And then he was, did a response video, and this response video, it probably just shouldn't have been out there. It was a 3.5 hour response video, and it just kind of showed some sides that, nobody really probably saw before. So that, caused tons of stress on the relationship. We got attacked for months and months and months. Hundreds of thousands of comments. I was cleaning for weeks, and it was awful. I was literally, that was my job. I would wake up and I would clean comments, and I would just get it all out of there. And because I was seeing how it was affecting his confidence, and I needed him to show up because we need to do this business. We're tanking. This is not good. So yeah, just long story short, everything fell apart after that. And one day I had a mansion and 4 cars and a driver and a career, a husband, friends, and everything. And then after a moment, it was gone. Everything.
Really? Overnight?
Oh, not even overnight. In an hour. It was everything was gone. I literally, I had no car, no money. I had nothing. I had zero. I had nothing with a son. And so I'm okay. Now this is at a point. This was last year, April 10th. April 10th last year, my life changed. This is after doing almost, over a decade of this work, healing and discovering the body and studying spirituality and, studying all these things. So I knew logically, consciously what I had to do to make sure that I didn't fall on my ass and create a pool of depression. Because emotion lives in your body for 90 seconds. And if it lives in your body any longer than that, is your mind telling your body a story that it's there. You have this thing called the reticular activating system, which is a bundle of nerves at your brainstem that filters down reality from 11 million bits of information to 50 to 100, dependent upon how you observe your reality. So the reticular activating system will filter down your reality from 11 million bits of information to 50 to 100, depending upon how you observe your reality. So if you think your life is hard, then you're going to see obstacles everywhere. You're not going to see the opportunity because your RAS is filtering it down like this. And then we have, Hebb's law, the Hebbian law, what fires together, wires together. So I knew all these things. And I'm I can't sit here and be all depressed and be all jacked up because, I'm going to drive myself into depression and anxiety. I got a 13-year-old, or he was 11 at the time. And I was I got a kid, I got to support this kid. I got to figure this out. So I went into complete, management mode of how can I normalize life for my son? And so that was my goal every day for, a couple weeks. I was so stressed. I lost 20 pounds. It was really crazy. My kid was Mom, I think you got to eat. And I was oh, I was am I skinny? He's it's not good. I was oh yeah, I'm going to eat. I'm sorry. I'm just stressed. So, through that process, it's you can either take a collapse and a dismantling of your life, and you can sink into blame mode and say, screw everybody. He screwed me over. She screwed me over. You could sink into that very easily because victim mentality takes the blame off of you and puts it on the other person. So it's very cozy to be in victim mentality. But if you're able to flip that and say, no, thank you, God, for showing me the truth of what's happening. And thank you, God, for allowing me to have this beautiful new foundation that I can build from me,
Amen.
So I try to hold that. And it's not easy. This is definitely work every moment of the day because you're angry, you're betrayed, you're feeling all these emotions. So it was extremely hard for me to keep that mindset going. So, I would allow myself to crash out for a little bit to feel my pain and sorrow. But I would literally break that pattern by running outside and going to ground myself to the earth, letting the sun hit my face, or I would turn on some music. I would start dancing around. I would break the habit of being in the crash out, literally stop it in the middle of it and flip into gratitude.
I love it.
That's how you retrain your brain to start automatically doing that instead of the negative. So
gratitude's an action too.
Yes.
So that's
happiness is an action. This is all verbs.
Yes.
You're happy because you make yourself happy, not because you're just happy, So it's you have to work to get to a place of peace, get to a place of enlightenment, get to a place of wholeness. It's freaking work. This was not easy by any means at all. I literally, everybody turned on me. My whole staff was from Detroit. Like I plucked all the little staff out Detroit City and I brought them around the world with me. I put them on stages with me. I brought them in rooms that they would never, ever be in. And they all turned on me. And I'm talking like years, friendships for years. Wow. Everybody turned on me. And so I had nobody. And not only did I have nobody, but there was, rumors flying around about me, untrue things that were being said. So it was like the community was turning on me.
Wow.
So it felt like I was literally up against the whole entire world. And I'm like, how am I going to create anything? I have no connections. Like I have a story. I have a message and I want to tell it. Like I want to be on stages telling my story. I deserve to be on stages telling my story because if I can do this, anyone can. Like if I can like fall on my ass and still be okay, anyone can do this.
100. So
after, I started going live more. I started talking more. I started showing up more. I created my podcast. I created my brand because I'm like, especially for the women, like ladies, you can go through something bad. Don't let that consume you and take you over because then you're allowing that person to literally ruin you. You know what I'm saying? You need to take your power back and create the life that you want, because we have the power to create our reality. It's not them, right? So if you're living in blame mode and victim mentality, then you're literally living other people's lives. You're not living a life of your own through your own power. So I started showing up way more. And then I was like, you know what? I know about manifestation. I know what, you think in your mind, you can hold in your hand. And I know about visualization. I knew all these things. So I was like, let me start to visualize very deeply about what I need and what I want. So I would go on these dance party walks and I would be visualizing literally being on these stages, like in other countries.
What is a dance party walk?
Oh, look, let me break that down. So, it's not just a walk. It's like I'm literally dancing down the street because dancing for me healed me. Like dancing.
So by yourself or just dance partying?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm like literally like dancing down the street and I don't care. Yeah. I don't care who's looking at me. Yeah. Because I live in my own world. I'm trying to make me feel good. I don't care what y'all think about me. Like I need to make me feel good, I
don't care what people think.
Exactly. So doing my dance party walks. Now it gets even stranger. So
I'm white though, so I don't have the vibe. Like I can't. I would look way awkward. So I still walk down the street with my teacup Yorkie on a pink leash.
There you go. Yeah. See, still. I mean, we have our things, right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, during these dance party walks, I would start visualizing deeply, and so much so that I would be in the act of where I was at. So I'll be like high-fiving people. So now I'm high-fiving the air as I'm walking down the street. Now I'm bowing, right? Now I'm like looking real crazy, but I don't care. I'm in my own reality. I'm literally on a stage right now. You can't tell me I'm not.
I love it.
So, that literally creates your reality. Like what you desire is what God has placed in you to want, right? When you kind of clear out the static, you gotta do the shadow work and clear out some trauma so you can really have a connection and understand what messages come through. But like if you have a burning desire in you, that's like the God message. Like you gotta follow that. So like if I want to create and be on stages and speak, how am I gonna do that with no connections, no nothing, no money, no nothing? Like how am I gonna do this? Well, I have to create it through thought. So, and I believe in myself and I know that this is my desire. This is my burning desire. So I'd be high-fiving people. I'd be bowing. I would cry because I would be like, oh my God, I'm here. Like, I can't believe this. I would be affecting these hundreds of people, thousands of people. And they'd all like come up to me afterwards like, thank you so much. Literally, I'm there. So I was doing this for weeks, probably months. And all of a sudden, I got a meeting with this lady. And it was just to see if we vibed in business. There was no talk about anything else. It was just an introduction. We get on the call together. We start vibing with each other right away. I'm like, you're awesome. She's like, you're awesome. And then like someone in the back is like, oh my God, is that Elisabeth Carson? And she comes up and she's like, I love your work. Oh my God. And so the other girl turned. She was like, oh, you know her. Like, who is she? Like, what is this? And she's like, oh, that's Elisabeth. So she started telling her about me. And then the girl was like, oh, you know what? We should have you at the summit. And I'm like, what summit? She's like, oh, well, we're having a summit in Bali in September. You should come speak. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, yes, I will be there. So I got the gig. I literally got off that call and I started bawling, crying. I called my assistants. My assistants are bawling, crying. We're like bawling, crying. I'm like, guys, this is really happening. We really did this. Like, we really did this. It's happening. So long story short, I mean, I was, my life fell apart in April. I was on international stages in September. I was in Bali in September. I was in Dubai in January. I was in Mexico in February. I got invited to Costa Rica. I had to pull out last minute. in March. And, I've been traveling, speaking ever since, like everywhere. So it's like, no one can give me excuses about their life because it's like, you can create anything you want.
That's
you can do anything you want, even if you have nothing, So no one can tell me, oh, I can't do that. Yes, you can. Anyone can do anything. If I can do all the things I just did, like you can definitely do what it is you want to do. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the mission is to, I teach by lived experience and, the research that I've done tying spirituality and neuroscience together because, the mind-body connection is incredible. And when you're able to have the knowledge and apply it to your life, then you can really see how you can align perfectly with purpose, God, your trajectory of life, and things will just open up and be way easier for you, And one of the greatest gifts that I got from this whole experience is my connection with God. I was not connected at that last, with that last bid that I did. I was not connected by any means, shape, or form. And I think that's why I always had this low level anxiety inside of everything I did. It was just, I always felt like I wasn't, home.
So you're free now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Like, oh, my God. Really. Yeah. Really. And I just see things so differently now. And I see purpose so differently now. And honestly, I can truly say from, an ego and non-ego standpoint that, like, I really just want to serve, at this point. And it's just about that. And it has a lot to do with this last weekend. You know what I'm saying? I visited the Brahma Kumaris and Sister Jenna. And it's just being received in so much love by people who just spend their lives serving every single day. Like every moment of the day they're in service, And it was very inspiring to see that there are people out there that exist like that. And it just made me say, I can be like that too. And I want to be like that too. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
So what's next for you then? If that's where.
Man, everything's kind of changed a little bit, like literally in the past, 72 hours. So, I am rewriting my first book. It was a bestseller. Okay. The Recipe to Elevated Consciousness. I'm doing a rewrite and update. More modalities, more life story, because it was my life story and modalities. And so I'm just adding to it with the most recent stuff that I've discovered through modalities and the most recent drama of my life. So yeah, that'll probably be out in the next couple months. And I have a coaching program. I have these transformations that I do with clients where I can change identity within 100 hours, which is great. Wow. And yeah, I really want to focus on my nonprofit, The Unlimited Life, because I want to serve people. It's less about the lights and the cameras these days for me. Just since this weekend, I had a complete shift in perception, and I really had to be honest with myself, is this the most I can be doing for my community, for my people? Can I be doing more, boots on the ground somehow, So I kind of want to just get more involved with community, find a church, just do more.
I feel like that should always be I think working the 12 steps got me in that rhythm of inventorying my life, inventorying my day, inventorying where I'm at and saying, can I be doing more? Yeah. Do I owe an apology to somebody? Did I do something wrong? Because I think that's, I think when you're on a certain level or you're vibrating at a certain level that you're always trying to be better. And not to be compete with other, but I compete with me.
Yes.
So,
same.
And it's man, I think I can do better at this. And same thing, I feel like you skipped over, you talked about everything except you were and I got a coaching program. But that is the most powerful modality of treatment that you can help anybody with is one-on-one or one-to-many where they actually get you.
Yeah.
And you can speak on stages, you can do a lot of things, but I think, I feel like there was a little less enthusiasm when you said that.
I'm going to tell you what that is. So I have a lot of PTSD because all I used to do is market back at the old company. Okay. And so I have PTSD about marketing and just trying to hammer people with what I'm offering because it's my heart. I want to help people. I have offers because I have to make this a business. You know, if I could do everything for free, I would. I honestly would, which is why I want to work within my nonprofit way more. Yeah. But so it's I just
you don't want to offer it.
I do. It's just I don't want to hammer people with marketing stuff. Like I always used to just market at that place. So I mention, you know, and I feel like if people want the wisdom, they're going to search me out and they'll figure out a way to connect with me. So I don't talk about it like greatly at great lengths or anything, but it is a very powerful program.
Like I'm in the same boat with you, right? Mm-hmm. And I think I get more from like, you know, the guy I'm helping with his fitness that's 350 pounds that now has lost 50 pounds in 2 months. Like total transformation of somebody's life is about to happen. I think to me that is more powerful than any form of payment that you can receive.
Yeah, you're right.
To see somebody that comes back to you in 2 years, you're like, dude, since I met you, man, my business 6x, like, and I didn't do nothing. They did the work. Yeah, I was just there as a catalyst to like say, hey, what about this or whatever? Like I sat last Monday night with a guy that, you know, was holding something since high school. Mm-hmm. And like we cried on my back porch, you know, I was like, and like after that, he's like, dude, my whole week has been different. Like I was so happy to just rid myself of that. I was like, dude, what if you're holding yourself to this standard and you're still upset with yourself for losing in the state championship? Imagine if that was your son. What would you say to your son if he walked over there and just like completely just broke down? Wow. And he's like, you're right, you know, and to me that, you know, money's money, like, but but I feel like when somebody's paying me to be their coach or to mentor them, I'm coming on a different level too. Yes. Like I'm coming at more of a, like,
if I don't get you to your goal, then I failed.
And I'm more prepared. Like I'm like, I have a responsibility. Like I have to meet with them this week. Like, you know, and it takes me to another level too. So it's a win-win in my opinion. Really, and I feel like same thing when I go into do jail and prison ministry. I feel like I get more out of it than they do. Like I get to leave the jail on the same night. Like it's like, and not bond out. And it's, and then I get to, we stay connected with these guys when they get out, put them in a group chat. We're like, what do you need? No, I'm in work release. Like, let's get this. Everybody puts $40 in. Let's get them a cell phone and some clothes. Like, and it's powerful. And then you see him 2 years later, 3 years later, the one guy's married, you know, he's, you know, doing great. He's in college, like, but because we stay connected.
Yeah.
You use it for the rehabilitation. And that, I mean, the work that we're doing, you know, we're not trying to do it. We're out here, you know, and we're actually doing it. And it's, I think that there's a certain level of blessing that you receive from serving.
Yeah, I think so, for sure. I mean, you know, some of my clients got off drugs. You know, a lot of them got off prescription meds.
That's what I tell people the first thing.
Really
like,
good. It's good.
You got to clear the mind.
Yeah.
And even if you do it for 6 months at 75 hard or whatever, you know, like is a big deal for some folks.
Yes.
I caught that. So I wanted to see what was there. And, but that's so amazing. You got more than I got going on. That's for sure.
No, it's just, it's.
And a year.
Yeah, I worked
a little over a year.
Ass off though. Really worked my ass off. I'm gonna be speaking in Budapest in October and September actually. And then I have a gig. I think I'm speaking in Toronto in September too, and maybe at New York Fashion Week I'm hosting a party. So it's like a whole vibe. I always wanted this life. You know, I love my life. I'm so blessed and honored to be like in this skin suit and just living the way that I'm living. I really have the most incredible life. Seriously.
No, it's amazing. Amazing testimony, especially coming through it and healing and, you know, and like even at the spot you're at right now is like in a new season.
Yeah.
You know, so like.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this new season. It's going to be weird. It's going to be different.
It's all good though.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm truly grateful. It's like, you know, coming from places like we came from, it's very, I don't know, it's humbling and it's almost like, it's just mind blowing to just be in some of the spaces that I've been, you know? I mean, even sitting at like, I think it's called an ashram. I don't know what it's called, but it's like, you know, the like sacred place, like with all the like the people and the sisters and the brothers. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, how am I like, what am I
At least once
doing?
A week, I'm questioning myself.
You know, like how?
You guys know who I am. You gave me the keys to this place.
Right.
Like,
you really know. Right. Crazy,
you trust me? And it's, but God,
great feeling.
That's the way.
God,
that's the only
God.
thing I say is that, you know, that's the only thing I can explain or attest it to. Cause like people work their whole lives to do like what I've done in a short amount of time. And it's like sitting across tables with deals and like millionaires, billionaires, just things like, and I'm at the point now where I'm like, how do I make this benefit me? Like how, if I'm sitting in these spots and so I'm connecting and being around certain people to where I can help, get to the next level and help them. Cause like, it's crazy. I was telling a guy last night, like I walk in a room with like all these people and I'm controlling it. And like, I walk out there like, I just hit a home run. Like, and I winged it. Like,
yeah. Winging it is the best anyways. Winging it is the best because then you can actually be present with the people. You know what I'm saying? You got to wing it.
So where can people find you?
So people can find me at ElisabethUnlimited.com. My name's spelled with an S, so a lot of people, you search the wrong thing. So it's ElisabethUnlimited.com or Elisabeth_Unlimited on Instagram. I mean, I'm on all the socials, Facebook and YouTube. I have my podcast, Elisabeth Unlimited, which has your show, which is going to be freaking amazing.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was so good. So yeah, I don't know. I'm around. I'm around.
We're definitely going to stay connected. I definitely want to collab with you on some more stuff, and you guys will be seeing more of that, hopefully. And man, I appreciate the conversation. It's been an awesome one. Yeah. And real quick, I definitely want to jump. Well, not real quick, but if you had to speak to the next generation and kind of give any sort of advice to get to where like you're at in your situation in the coaching programs or whatever that is that you got going on, what would you say to them?
I would say, it's very important to have boundaries, to really know yourself. I think a lot of us get stretched and pulled and, we lose focus of the stillness that we need to get into to connect with who we are, to connect with God. So don't get lost in the rat race of Western, culture. Sleep until you die. Don't do that because, the more that you can align with self and protect self and serve self, that's how you're going to, show up in the world.
And it's not selfish doing that.
No,
it's not. Because if we aren't who we are, how can we be there for somebody else? Exactly. So we have to definitely take care of our mind, body, spirit, soul, all, to be able to help others. And I think like we were talking before we were on camera, it's like you almost default to it. Like if you get to a certain level where like I never wanted to be a coach, but like I overcame so many things and you're like, people are like, how did you do that? Like, so, and then when all of your basic needs are met, like roof over your head, food in your stomach, like, then you have this urge and drive to want to help others. I think it's human nature.
Yeah, I think it is too. I would also say like, so my life has been like up and down. I've sat in a jail cell and I've had like sat in freaking like the Maldives, like a mansion. So like I've seen it all. And what I can tell people is that you can create a life through here. You can really create like a life, like an extravagant one. But when you get there, will you be happy? Right. So when I got to the place with the private jets and all the things, I'm like, am I truly happy? And I wasn't, because I was working through here. So you have to get into your heart space and ask your heart and move through your heart, which is through God. This is the lights. Like this is connection. So if you're not connected to that and working through that, then what you create, you probably will not be fulfilled. Yeah. So it's like you have to truly ask yourself, what is really important, And all the things, I guess it just never was. It was never important because at this point, I'm so happy. Like, I love
you. Are glowing. Yeah, you definitely.
Yeah.
You got it going on, girl.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jonnie. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. Life is good, man. Life is good.
So thank you guys for tuning in. You got anything else you want to say to the folks at home?
No, just, stay aware, stay conscious. That's all.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Don't forget we're going to put all of her links in the bottom, in the bio. Don't forget to tune in to the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys soon.